Okay, guys, we're getting with it here with the Dorn on keebler. Oh, I'm just thinking about the clip of the day today. Jack himself with soft. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's get into this now. Now. Let's get into this right now. Dorn on keebler ground pound. Eat some really old frozen macaroni and cheese, so I might get food poisoning or something. But yeah. Guys, don't challenge my aura. You hear? Meme? Okay, hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh god, spiders. And my volume's fucked. Okay, hold on. Alt tab that bit, get in the thing, do the thing, and then be done with the thing. Yeah. You don't need voice meter to use OBS if you're gonna do any streaming stuff, but you know, it's useful to have. Okay, but it's kind of techy and annoying, and it can cause some very serious problems if you don't use it correctly. Serious? Well, okay, well, let's not go that far. Let's go confusing, mind-bogglingly annoying problems. How about that? Okay, like all techy things. Problems. Endless of thems. So, what I really need here... What sugarcane do I have? So this is pretty sick. Not gonna do much, maybe. Then again, Oop. Lagging. Lagging is very dangerous. But I have an idea for this. So we're going down to the underground. Alright, where the fucking monsters are, and they just fucked everything up here. You know what, we're just done over here, okay? We're just done over here. Let's instead save this for a different adventure. I guess I'm gonna go this way. That's kind of what I was planning to do before I had to go. Do some quote-unquote work. Because, you know, technically it's not work, but, technically, by technicality, it doesn't really count as work. Or so I just work to live. I don't work for the paycheck. I work to live. So we're just gonna go ahead and... No, this would be a waste. This would be an excellent waste. So we shouldn't even leave anything open here. Just a single creeper. Okay, and my ass is grass. You know, we don't have the bridging mod in this version, because, you know, people don't like doing things that are smart. Oh my god, stop lagging. Why, yeah. We know it never does this. Oh, just escaped out of that. That was weird. Shouldn't be how it rips, but it did for that many sounds. Getting a little funky in here. I hear a tornado. Be extremely careful over here. It's a very good place to die. So. So, I suppose at some point I'm probably should talk about, you know, my own accord, of course, talk about just Dorn keebler beliefs, you know, Dorn keebler opinion, because, you know, it obviously matters. And I'm more so, it's about the pretentious artists. You know, I have my extended Dorn keebler opinion about that. The thing is, I'm not in favor of smaller artists, because smaller artists aren't nice. They're mean. Just like me, you know? Look at me, I don't profit or get any gain or benefit from it, you know? Hell, if I could get paid to be an asshole, maybe I would. But, you know, I don't get paid to be an asshole. Oh my god. Nobody should get paid to be an asshole. Okay? It's not how the world works. Oh fuck, now I'm down here. Stupid fucking water wiping out all my torches. I'm dead, dude. There's no way I'm gonna survive down here. Good fucking just jumping in here. Although this entire area is pretty much ruined. Oh, great. Oh! God, that fucker's gonna cause me a lot of issues here. Like, you know, enemies just being able to walk up here. I don't and won't support pretentious piece of shit. It's just not in my book of things that I support, you know? I mean, when I talk shit, you know, I'm accepting of the fact that, you know, to some degree, you know, we're all just kind of, like, fucked. So, you know what I mean? Like, we're all sheep here, you know? Let's see where this water will come from. God. Fucking motion. Okay, now. Oh god. Where am I? I don't even know. Oh my god. Get up there! Why? What? What is my vision right now? Inside of some Gabbro here. Okay, made it. Need to close off that area. Leaving. Yeah! No. No. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that was really frustrating. Which was it, dude? It's all this. Oh, hell nah. Oh, shit. No! Can't die to a woman. I mean, what? I was just, what? No, just kidding. I'm just over it, guys. I'm over pretentious pieces of shit. I don't got patience for that anymore. Okay? Neither should you, but you, of course you have patience for it, you know? Because it's all you're allowed to do is have patience for it. You don't feel like you're allowed to step out of line, you know? Of course, I'm not speaking for everybody here, you know? I'm speaking for, you know, regular schmegulars like myself, you know? Who, you know, who know fully well these dumb motherfuckers are fucking stupid. Okay? You know it. You know these fuckers are stupid. You know what I'm talking about. It's something that's hard to describe, and that's the way they like it. You know? So it doesn't feel like you really have anything to say. Let's see here. This guy says, talking about this video where these guys made this pedophile eat cigarette butts. My view on it is, it's great, but why didn't they, make him turn himself in like they were talking about? They let him get up and go home. They were like, oh, just eat these cigarette butts and you can be free. No. Turn your fucking self into the police right goddamn now. No question. No escape. You brought yourself here. You're going to jail, prison, hopefully, forever. Right? No, they were just like, oh, just eat those cigarette butts and you can walk away, buddy. Then you'll be humiliated. Okay, so, how do you think his victims felt? I mean, sure, he's humiliated, but you know what he's not? In prison for life, which is not good. Okay, how? Okay. What? It's gotta be the fucking, the mod. Oh my god, it's you stupid piece of shit. Get out of here. No! It's these little fuckers too! No! Gotta get out of here right now, dude. No! Fuck you and your stupid being able to clip through blocks, man. Okay. Just gonna board this shit up quick. Trying to get away from this area right now. Oh no. Shit! Oh, he's going from the thing. Okay, we gotta go down. Let me guess. Break this and then the water comes through. And there's creepers. Okay, so this is bad. But no, they shouldn't be able to walk free, after shamelessly, coming there to, defile the innocence of the innocent. I think they more than deserve to be locked away forever, never see the light of day again, box, straight box forever, and he does make the point like, oh well, we still gotta see them get humiliated and beat up, for the most part. Beat up, aggressed towards, and, it just, it complicates things because the investigation has to be investigated. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that works, but, from what I've seen people talk about, you know, it can really mess with things and muddy things, you know, when you're not working side by side with the police department, you know. But even then, you know, here's my more opinionated side about it. They don't get very much time. They get like 7 years or something, right? Like, that's stupid. They should get forever. They should get forever they should get endless years. You know, there shouldn't be an amount of years that they get. It should just be forever, right? Like, that's what it should be, but it's not. You know? Fortunately for them, you know, our court system is kind of rigged in their favor, and it's stupid. Maybe it is better that, you know. No, because I feel like it would be better if they just kind of pulled up and, you know what I mean? But like, that's not really helping things much, right? I mean, it gets rid of it, but you know, like, if you're gonna like do something that might give this fucker an advantage in court, you might as well just fucking come up and kill him, right? Because, you know, chances are, you know, like, he might, it's a very strong might, get away with it. And that sucks. Just terrible. I have these conversations sometimes, not all the time, but every once in a while you get into a little conversation. And my opinion is usually like, you know, it should just be made that the worst thing happens to them that can legally happen. But it isn't like that. You know? It isn't like that at all. It's more like, oh yeah, 7 years of a slammer. 7 years of a slammer for you, buddy. 7 years of a slammer. Going away for 7 years, buddy. Right? Instead of like, you know, you'll never see the sky again. Like, instead of just, you'll never see the sky again. You'll never see a tree again. You know? You're there forever and ever and ever. You know? Every single one of the rest of the days of your life will be spent in this tiny gray box, you know? No faces, you know? Because it's serious. We're talking about someone taking away the innocence of someone here. We're talking about someone ruining someone else's life. You know what I mean? To a very large extent. We're talking about someone taking away, you know, we're talking about some life-ruining things here, you know? And to these motherfuckers, it's just another Tuesday, and that's completely fucked up in every single way, you know? But no, you know? 7 years, you know? 7 years of prison time for an entire lifetime of, you know, that's what happened, and I remember it, and I won't be able to unremember it. I just think that's a little bit ridiculous. That's kind of, you know, talking about this because, you know, I was just recently having a conversation in the comment section about it. You know what I mean? One of his points was, oh, well, he'll just go insane. That doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, you know. Like, why are we considering human rights with these people? You know? Why are we not just executing them? Or, you know, like, putting them in solitary confinement for their entire lives? Why are we considering their rights or, you know, their anything? You know? look, you know, there's probably a reason why I don't decide what happens. You know, there's probably a reason why I'm not in charge of that. You know? You kind of remember that our government is all fucked up too, you know? Epstein's Island, you know? I mean, we protect these people, you know? We protect these people and, from what I've seen, pretty much do whatever we can. Not we. Okay, government. Does whatever they can to keep these people safe and protected and, you know, and make sure, you know, they get fairness. And I think, you know, that's kind of fucked up. Kinda. Not kinda. That is fucked up. But no, earlier I was talking about, you know, artist pretension. Talking about artist pretension and something that I forget it, but hold on again. I made a few posts talking about, you know, my opinion on pretentious artists and how, you know, like, I use AI in spite of pretentious artists, you know, and whether or not it affects artists who aren't pretentious, I don't give a fuck, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, I don't like these people, you know, and I don't want to support them, you know, and I want them to know that, you know, it doesn't matter how away AI goes, I will always be there, you know, to support AI until there is no pretension left that I can visibly see, you know, no accepted pretension either, you know, which obviously, you know, I'm just a guy. What I do doesn't really matter, but, you know, it's just that internal satisfaction that what I'm doing is something that, you know, these people strongly disagree with and don't like. You know, it's something that, you know, if they knew, you know, if something that, you know, they know I'm doing will bother them, you know, or just be an unpleasant thought in their head, you know, that's what it's really about. There's not really many ways you can get back at something you don't like these days, you know, unless you're really skilled, you know. I hate pretentious artists. I think it's a bad look for artists in general. I think it's a bad look for everything involving art. I think it is just a bad look, you know. AI might be harmful, but I feel being a pretentious shitbag is even more harmful, you know, to the image of artists. Not everybody agrees with me on this either. A lot of people would disagree with me, you know. What I see as being pretentious, other people would just see as just being an artist, right? And I think that's something that really needs to change too, in my opinion, and it probably won't, you know. I'm in kind of a ranty vibe here. You know, that's something that'll never change because, you know, it's just accepted. It's accepted for them to be that way. It's accepted for them to be awful like that, you know, and it's deemed okay, which I think is stupid, you know. I mean, fuck them. They'll never have my respect. They'll never have my sympathy or anything, you know? And that doesn't really matter because, once again, you know, I'm a pretty tiny individual here, you know? Don't got a lot of credibility or really anything, but, you know, I don't think it should be rewarded. You know, I don't think being a little bitch should be rewarded. You know? I think being a little fucker, being a little annoying ass motherfucker is something that should be rewarded. You know? I think humility should be rewarded. I'm not a humble guy. Let me tell you. Okay? You know, I still know what humility looks like. And it's not these fucking idiots, okay? Not these fucking stupid motherfuckers. I tell ya. These motherfuckers are not humble. They are disrespectful and annoying. I will always be against that. You know. So it kind of brings me a little bit of like ecstasy to know, what the hell? When did this happen? Probably when I broke that fucking lucky ore. Great. Oh, now this pickaxe can never break. That's... Or actually, I think I have a mod that makes it double the durability of the tool. Right? Meligate. Let's see. No? Supposed to be a mod that does that. I thought that would have been the mod that I had here. Yes. Okay, I'm the Dorn keebler. I'm spiteful. You know, and bitter towards things I don't like. You know. Let me tell you, I do not like these pretentious motherfuckers. You know? I want nothing but for them to fail. You know? I want nothing... I don't want them to feel comfortable. You know? I like that they feel like they have to compete with AI. I think that is a beautiful sight. You know? Magnificent sight. Makes me happy. Fills me with joy. You know, at least to some extent they recognize, you know, that their existence is on par with the rest of the world. Wait a minute, did I put a diamond in there? A lot of diamonds. I really want to switch out this sword, but... Got Lexica Botania. Oh my god, this looks ridiculous. It's a very thinky mod, it says. Welcome to Botania. Botania? Botania? I don't know. Botanist. That's what I'm associating that word with. Welcome to Botania. I congratulate you on the fine choice of strapping a sapling and book together, or just finding this tome in a chest, whichever applies. You can navigate this book using the arrows at the bottom of this page, your mouse wheel, or the arrow keys in your keyboard. Despite its looks, Botania is the essence of a tech mod. Is in essence a tech mod. By definition, of requiring you to put in the ingenuity, thought, and redstone to create progress. It's good to keep that in mind. Of course, you'll also be rewarded with cool toys, blocks, and equipment if you're worried. I have no idea how to work with redstone, guys. I may never get to this, but we'll see. We'll try. Redstone's just too confusing for my brain to understand. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't have anything that I really desire to build with redstone. Like, I've done, well, no, I haven't done anything with redstone, like, ever. Whoops. So I hit the Windows key there. Obviously, you know, something I need to take into account when I... What do I keep hitting? Am I hitting Alt-Tab? Something I need to take into account when I speak these words is that, oh, I'm hitting Escape. Do that again. Okay. Something I need to take into account when I say these things is that, you know, I'm gonna have ops here. You know, gotta be like accidentally pressing it or something. Glass. Something I need to take into account is that, you know, a lot of people are gonna disagree with me. You know, some people are going to aggressively disagree with me. And that's kind of the freaky part about this is, you know, kind of going into some territory where some aggressive people exist, you know, some very aggressive mouth-foaming monsters, you know, who do some really fucked up shit. So, I don't know, you know, obviously it needs to be acknowledged, you know. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, I get people who just kind of continue to fight this battle in the comments. And I want to say that's kind of like what I'm here for, you know. Because these motherfuckers, you know, they're fucking sick. Like, they'll do some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Some of them. They will do some fucked up shit. Okay? They'll do some really sick, disgusting, deplorable things. And, you know, like, that's not something that I feel, you know, everybody is just okay with happening. You know what I mean? Like me, I don't really care about a lot of things, you know. I'm pretty, like, you know, I'm pretty dead inside. So, when it comes to these rants, I really have no problem, you know, going on a big rant, you know, about AI art, artist, or AI and artist pretension, you know. But, you know, some of these motherfuckers, you know, don't seem to understand it like I do, you know. They don't know that they're working with possible murderers, you know. Gotta be careful when having an argument with these people because merely disagreeing is something that could cost you your life. And so, you know. That's why I would like to say I don't, you know, I'm obviously on a different platform than you two, but I don't need my battles fought for me, you know, because, you know, oh god, that's about to be a big thing. Jeez. I'm trying to get past this thing here. I don't know what's up with all this lava. Is this... It looks like there's just lava completely under this thing everywhere. I almost feel nervous that that might be the case. Got me over here. I don't want to go into it. I just want a normal cave, dude. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm in the back rooms right now. Look over here, dude. There's a lot of fucked up people out there right now. Oh my god, look at all my deaths. Oh my goodness. There's no point even deleting them because there's just gonna be a million more. Motherfuckers are sick, guys. You know. And they want you to think that they are. There's some that aren't and want you to think that they are. There's a lot that are and want you to think that they are. But you know, what are you gonna do? Not think that they are? You're just setting yourself up for their fucking sick thing that they're doing. I don't know. You know? I mean, just think about how murderous things have become. You know? How murderous and violent things have become. Gotta be careful. I really don't want to use this pickaxe for the rest of fucking eternity, but... Especially because it's not even adamantium, it's fucking malachite. Malachite, yeah. I'm prepared for freakouts, you know what I mean? I'm prepared for obnoxious bullshit, you know? I mean, I have family that disagrees with me in the way, you know, that I'm kind of talking about here. Not, you know, not like murderous, but like, you know, I have family members that disagree, and when we go at it, you know, she literally just yells at me, screams at me, and so, you know, I've kind of had a bit of the, you know, I've kind of been able to build up a bit of like, okay, this is kind of what it's gonna be like, you know, this is how, you know, this is how these people argue, you know, like this, you know, so I just have to be ready for, you know, someone to be screaming in my face, because that's how it happens, you know, that's how they argue, you know, there is no such thing as humility, you know. I'm not humble. I won't say that because, you know, I'm pretty fucking, you know, full of myself with the way that I talk from an outside perspective, of course. You know. These motherfuckers, they will get right up in your face and scream in your face. Okay? I've experienced it firsthand. And so just, it sucks, but you know, it's how you get the perspective, you know, even if it's a perspective that was, you know, kind of just blew up in your face, you know what I mean? A little hard to listen, but you know, And these motherfuckers, they don't conversate. They yell and they scream in your face, you know. And that's what they do. They yell and scream in your face and call you names. And that's kind of how the argument goes. God, an iron shovel. That doesn't look like a stick to me, buddy. Okay. Oh, there goes the rest of the ore. Oh, boy. You know, I can't even tell you how many people I've had up in my face yelling and screaming at me. It's just... Eventually, you know, you just kind of like, whatever. You know? Like, this is just... I guess this is just, like... It's like arguing to someone who speaks a different language, you know what I mean? It's like... You know... Like, this... To me, looks completely ridiculous and obnoxious, but... I think, you know, in a world that I don't understand, this is how an argument is supposed to be, I guess. You know? Holy shit. I don't need any of this. I don't know about this, actually. What is this? I know what this is. Okay. I'll take it anyways, I guess. Let's see. Oh, right, I have a backpack. Cool. I don't want to, like, load it up with bullshit here. Oh. Okay, we got some wheat. What are these things? These are like techno things. Modified power holding device. Put this nice, insatiable, simple crushed capacitor dud into a different machines to find out what it does, or ask Aunt Google. That'd be great. It'd be great if I could ask Google, but we all know what's wrong with Google these days. You know, it's unreliable information. But I'm never, ever going to be afraid. You know? Never be afraid. Because, you know, animalistically, you know, that is, you know, that's giving up and going home. Don't ever be afraid, guys. You know, no matter what screams in your face or, you know, like tries to make you feel threatened, you know, don't ever be afraid. You can be concerned or even shocked, but don't ever be afraid. You know, that's how they get power over you. You know, that's how they feel powerful, is making you feel afraid. You know, like, oh, what if I just go and, you know, be a criminal in your area? You know. What if I'm actually secretly a monster? That's what they want you to think. What if I'm secretly a monster? Then would you disagree with me? Yeah. But, you know, at that point I'm telling you whatever you know, want to hear because I recognize that you are mentally unstable. But, you know. There's a lot of good that's gonna do. You know what I mean? But that's how they get control, you know? Is through fear like that. And through, you know, and through just fucking violence and craziness, you know? Loud. You know? That shit don't work on me. You know what I mean? It worked on all the other sheep, but it doesn't work on me. you know? I have proof that, you know, partially through my experience, you know. Ah, the hiccups. It's very oily macaroni and cheese. Okay, now, let's take a look at some more of these here. Person says... Oh, okay. They say... Says, except he did all that, and they still called the police. Nice humiliation ritual. Judicial system probably released him same day. They rarely care. That is so fucking true, okay? So true. And this is another thing I'm responding to. They say, more than ever, artists are encouraging beginners to start. I say, encouraging? Yeah. You're a minority in that category. They don't encourage. Wait, but where the hell did that go? Oh, there it is. I kind of like this. It's kind of cool. Is that all the... Is that the space? There's no way that's the space of all my chests combined. It's this one. Or this one, too. No, it's just that one. It's weird. They should all be connected to each other, but they aren't. Maybe it's just if it's connected to the table. I really don't want to go back down there because I'm just getting destroyed by everything. Oh my god. Oh no, it's an endermite. Escaping. Oh my god, and he's got buffs on, and he's invisible. Why is he invisible? Okay, no, he's not. And he dropped a fucking piece of TNT in my fucking house. Ah, oh, that little motherfucker. Shit. Damn. Can't believe it. Whatever. One for the montage. The reason I made a montage is just the amount of time my base has been fucking exploded. Okay. Over it. Totally over it. Luckily, I'm a genius. How the fuck, where am I here? Yeah, this is not even supposed to, this is all supposed to be, like, not exposed here. What? Maybe it is. God, I hate that little shit so much. I'm just so over manipulation, you know, I'm so over the games, I'm so over, you know, I'm so over the, well, guess what, I'm a fucking psychopath, so, you know, it's just stupid. It's stupid, you know, it's childish, but not even in, like, a childish way, in, like, a fucking weird motherfucker way, you know, like, it's just strange. And it shouldn't be as normalized as it is once again. It is something that's very normalized, very accepted, you know, and people just kind of let them get away with it, you know. Like, oh, you just threatened a bunch of people. But, I guess that's just okay, right? That's okay. That's okay. You threatened a ton of people, but that's okay. And, you know, even killed people too. But you know that's just okay. You know why? Because should I even say it? I'm not gonna say it, but of course I'm gonna say it because you're trans, and it's okay. That's why. That's why it's okay. That's the commonality I'm starting to see here. You know, it's okay because if it's not, then people die and shit goes whack. You know what I mean? Awful things happen if it's not okay. And frankly, you know, that shit's whack. That shit's 100% whack. You know? Some people share this opinion, but still would disagree with me on a lot of the things that I think, you know? And that's also okay. You know? A lot of people disagree with me. You know? I'm a very disagreeable person. You know? Very disagreeable person. You know? Doesn't mean I'm wrong by my point of view. You know? I'm very disagreeable. I'm very blunt, you know. I'm very, you know, who fucking cares? Let's just do it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that's obviously why I'm not running things, right? Well, sorry. Thinking, because is this really a good use of my sapphires? I don't know. Looks cooler. It's worth it. What else am I going to use sapphire for? Enchant tools later? No, whatever. Oh wait, now I have a use for that one wood. Great. Frankly, like I've said before, I don't even know if I used the word frankly right. I'm just so sick of, you know, I'm so sick of these cases of, you know, what is it? I don't even know what word I'm looking for here. I'm sick of these cases of just, you know, like people very clearly feeling like, you know, they can't say what they want because of these, you know, because of these murderous freaks who are trying to, you know, bully people into getting their way, you know? And it's not, obviously, it's not every case. There's a lot, you know, of cases like this I've seen recently, you know? You see it everywhere, you know? And then they'll go like, oh, well, in the past 15 years, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. No one should feel like they're not allowed to say anything, you know? And that's just the bottom line. No one should feel like they are not allowed to speak their mind, you know? That's retarded. And I will never feel like I'm not allowed to speak my mind. I will always speak my mind, you know? Doesn't matter what situation I'm in, I will always speak my mind. Should I start a secret apple cow farm? No, I'm not at the resources. I need at least an infinite water source. I don't want to move bases. I'm gonna be real. Make some waystones. Let's see. I need purple dye, right? Oh, we need floral purple powder. So I need to go over. First, I need it to be day, but it's not. So I'm gonna have to wait. And then I need to go over to those lavender fields that are like over in that direction. I don't currently know. But I recently decided that you know, should be able to combine metals in this, I think. I don't know if it's with this is from the nether. No stuff on here. What's the fusion sandstite? How do you make that? Large sandstite chunk. Oh. Bronze. Heavy duty. Heavy duty? Oh. Okay, here we go. So I need onyx. I don't really want to focus on that yet. I just kind of want to go. What the hell? How do I make that? Forbidden fruit. Jeez, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. We got thyrium. Damn. We got some wonderful things awaiting me here. Go back to the nether and I won't be able to see when it turns day, but it's not exactly. I need waystones so I can just get around the world quicker. You know? No. God damn it. Thing is, you know, another thing a lot of people don't realize. Sorry, I'm ruining my thoughts. A lot of people don't realize that, you know, they are under control, you know, because of things like what happened to Charlie Kirk. They don't realize that, you know, they are under control, you know, by these people, you know. Which, you know, we can talk about my feelings about Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with everything that, you know, Charlie Kirk was for, but, you know. Oh, no. I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk was for. I don't really, you know, a lot of his ideologies I don't feel like really match mine, you know. I didn't disagree with everything he said, though, and that's something I, you know. What the fuck is Argonite? Nether rocks? Whoa. Okay, let's grab some of this. Let's grab it all. You know. Although my feelings about, like, being pro-life have kind of changed a little bit, you know. I don't really have an opinion on that anymore. I don't really, like, you know, that's just there's people who talk about that who aren't me, and that's, you know, that's how it is. But I don't know. Oh, great. I don't really want to go in on my entire transgender argument, because I've already done that so many times. I'm just sick of it. It's annoying to talk about. It's, you know, let me tell you, I am a transphobe, and unapologetically a transphobe. You know, by qualification, at least. I'm sick of having the transgender conversation. I'm just over it. Doesn't matter. In my circumstance, it's not something I really need to talk about. Something I really need to have some, you know, yeah, I worded it correctly. Something I really need to talk about. Because, you know, it just goes in circles. You know, it just goes in circles forever, you know. Unless you're someone who, you know, whose words are, like, significant. Well, this stuff we're not really going to be able to use until we do anything with Tinkers here. You know, the reason why I make my beliefs so clear is because I don't want to attract the wrong people. I don't want, you know, and I don't, you know, it's not really even about the audience in general, but, like, you know, like, I just don't want a bunch of motherfuckers who I heavily disagree with here, you know. I mean, obviously, you know, if they give me the engagement, that's great, but, you know, like, I just don't want people who are, like, I'm tired of people being misled, thinking that, like, I'm on board with that, you know? Like, thinking that, like, you know, thinking that I'm a creator in general, and thinking that I'm a creator who aligns with their views, you know? Careful about those nether portals. You never know what kind of creature could come through there. In fact, I should have it blocked off at all times, but I don't. I don't, for some reason. We have more of this malachite stuff, along with a few new little ores that we've discovered. We don't need to do anything with this right now. Let's go ahead and trail these ores. I really want to do this fyrite. Fyrite. Alright, let's see. Damn, the shovel does 6.5 attack damage. Sword does more. So we're gonna go ahead and hook us up the sword here. And what do I use here? What? Should just be able to be smelted. Oh, this is an iron furnace. I wonder if that's why. Probably is why. Yep, it is. It is, for some reason. Why would you make it specifically a regular furnace that is able to smelt these things? It's making sense to me. And we got some argonite, which looks cool, but doesn't really seem to do much here. Oh, excuse me, but it does make some cool bricks that I might indulge in. Some other things. Other things. I'm sick of talking about those subjects because they're just, you know, annoying to talk about. Tired of going in circles. See, I'm already doing it. Frustrating. Alright, well, this immediately became useless. Oh, but it has 150 durability. I have to have 2 swords. What? Did the sword crash the game? This person says find better artists. Why don't you find a life or something? I don't know. Fucking find your way to away. What? This guy says send the video. What was I talking about? No, but no, yeah, Minecraft crashed. So we'll continue later. Cause, tired. I don't really know what I want to play. I mean, I guess I could play some Terraria. I don't really want to because I'm bored. I played way too much Terraria. I've just yeah, I got stuff